those vegan guys. Thank you.
Right. Hi, Kylie.
Hello.
I just have to say, just for YouTube record, are you happy that I'm recording this and that it will be uploaded as a vlog to YouTube?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem at all.
Fantastic. So yeah, the idea was to get as many people as possible while we're all on lockdown, coping with this coronavirus malarkey, to share their vegan stories, because we've all got such different, vegan stories, things that led us into being vegan. But you've got, right, let's just start at the very beginning. So Kylie, what's your occupation?
So I'm a veterinary nurse.
That's fabulously interesting. And is it that led you to veganism?
It was. So I'm a small animal nurse now, so I just sort of do pets, cats and dogs and rabbits and whatnot. But when I first started, I was in a mixed practice. So I spent a lot of time on farm. And I was always a vegetarian. It was always very clear to me that, an animal shouldn't die for me to eat it. So I was happily going along, still eating cheese and all the rest of it, thinking that I was doing a good thing, until I spent a day on a dairy farm. And it was a really big dairy farm down in Dorset. And we were working on this one cow. And they tended to put all the cows that needed attention into the same sort of little paddock. So the cow that we were operating on was in the same paddock as the ones that have just had babies and, the mastitis ones and all the rest of it. And I watched this cow give birth, and I watched her sort of cleaning her calf up. I had to pop away to get some kit from the car for the operation we were doing. I came back and she was still cleaning her calf and the calf wasn't moving. And I was like, I thought it would be up and about by now. And next thing I know, a farmhand came, picked up the calf, just sort of grabbed it between its front legs and dragged it past me. And while I was getting kit from the car, it had a captive bolt through its head, literally seconds after birth. And they came and dragged it away. And the mom was bellowing and trying to follow. And out in the yard, there was a pile, I kid you not, nearly as tall as me, of calves, just dead bodies. That have been killed that day for no reason other than being boys. And it was a dairy farm, they produce no meat. And I thought, if there's this level of death in the small time that I am there, just for milk, that's, it's, and then, from that day on, I went vegan, completely gave it up. You'd see the cows, they had to walk past this pile of dead bull calves to get milked. And each and every one of them stopped and sniffed, and they were just sort of, moving them on with sticks and whatnot. And it was just, they weren't treated like they had any kind of sort of feelings or instincts at all. And from experience, they are the most maternal creatures. They really want to be with their babies, and the babies really want to be with their moms. And all day long on farm, you can hear the female calves get moved to like the other side of the farm, kept in these little pens, and just fed sort of either dregs of milk or a sort of formula. And all day long you can just hear them bellowing to each other, the moms and the babies. And it's just, the level of cruelty is amazing. And then I obviously looked into eggs. I never went to a chicken farm, but I looked into rescuing hens, and I learned a lot about the egg industry that way. And it's exactly the same principle. All the boys get killed at birth, just because they're, no use.
Yeah, we talked about this on the first in this series was a lady called Laura from Indiana in USA, and it was finding out about the truth about the egg industry that was her call to veganism.
Yeah, loads of people think, oh, chickens produce eggs anyway, cows produce milk anyway, what's the harm? But you actually take 5 minutes just to have a look at the facts, and there's so much suffering and death involved in the production of these, products that we just take for granted.
Yeah,
full of rescue hens now that I've rescued from the commercial industry, and they're lovely. They're so sweet. And they would have just gone to slaughter at about 18 months if it wasn't for people taking them on. But they still produce loads of eggs, which we give to our neighbours. And they're the most lovely little characters. I mean, they'll ruin your garden if you let them out, but keep them contained, and they're the perfect pet. They really are.
I wondered if you might, because obviously I'm very aware of, we're friends on Facebook, and you were actually one of the first people to leave a gorgeous review on those vegan guys page. And it's always stuck in my head because you said, so down to earth, they're basically soil. And I thought, what a beautiful thing to say. So thank you for that, Kylie.
You're welcome.
But you've had you've had at least 2 very significant life events in the last couple of years that I'm aware of. So I'm going to go to the first one, which was the furthest one away that I'm aware of, where you went to work abroad for a while.
Yes, so I went to Cyprus on a turtle conservation program for a couple of months. Yeah, that was an experience. It was.
I remember seeing the pictures and your posts on Facebook and just being kind of really inspired by it.
It was utterly gorgeous, and again, that made me much more aware of the sort of environmental impact of, well, everything we do. But one of the biggest things we can do for the environment as well is veganism. So that sort of added to the animal welfare part. It really brought home how much we take care of the planet, because we'd find turtles with bits of plastic stuck in them and all the rest of it, and it was just horrible. And I know veganism isn't necessarily helping with plastic reduction, but just trying to take care of the environment in general, really.
Yeah. Are you holding your phone, Kylie?
Yes.
Would you not be better finding somewhere to rest it so you can kind of chillax?
I don't know where to rest it where you're not going to get a horrible messy view of my bedroom.
That's a gorgeous shot.
Perfect.
Gorgeous shot right there.
Can't see the baby, Devon.
Your bedroom looks beautiful. I'm loving the lilac lampshade behind you. One of my favourite colours.
Oh, mine too.
So yeah, because I'm going to ask you just some random questions that I've kind of asked everybody, but I would also like to talk about the I suppose biggest event in your life of the last couple of years, which is the birth of your beautiful baby, who I cannot believe how much she looks like you.
Yeah, so I'm told.
Like incredibly looks like. So now I've heard people say that Michelle Law yesterday, who I had a chat with, she lost a son a few years ago, and it was that connected her with the dairy industry. That event.
Right.
Has having a baby, and I mean, as a gay man, I can only imagine what that actually feels like, to cultivate another human being in your body and then bring them into the world. Has it kind of reinforced your veganism? Has it connected you more with the realities of the dairy industry and so on and so forth?
Definitely, yeah. In 2 ways, really. I mean, the bond I have with her is unreal. It's intense. Just that maternal, I'd do anything for her. And I miss her literally the second she's out of the room. I start to miss her. And I'm like, how do we know that cows don't feel, on some level, and we're just ripping them apart from their young as if they're, just objects. And the other way it's really brought it home for me is I am now officially a lactating mammal. And I find it so embarrassing that we abuse that in another species. So embarrassing. It's such an intimate, natural, wholesome thing. And for us to remove that baby and take that breast milk, I'm really embarrassed for us as a species.
That's the key right there, isn't it? It's never forgetting that cows only produce milk because they've had a baby.
Yeah.
And the only way to get the milk is to take the baby away and steal it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet the other thing is, having gone through pregnancy and birth, although I was very, very lucky and I had a lovely pregnancy and a gorgeous home birth, it was a lot. You know, it took a massive toll on my body. Not as much as it does for some, but you know, it does for everyone. And a cow goes through that every single year of its life. It's artificially inseminated. It goes through the pregnancy, which I believe is not that much shorter than
9 months, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the whole birthing process, and for what? For nothing. And then they're milked, and then they're dried off, and then they start the whole process again. And to go through that annually is just physically and mentally and emotionally exhausting. So why shouldn't it be for them? Really, it's I really think that people are so removed, and they need to sort of take a step back and look at the world from as if you were an alien that landed on this planet, and actually have a look at what we do from the outside. It's so weird. It's so mad what we do. If we landed on an alien planet and we saw these aliens, you know, milking these other aliens and sort of having them all in sort of a form of slavery, really, removing all their babies and, you know, drinking their lactations and stuff, we'd be like, what are you doing?
It's ridiculous though, isn't it? Because everything's so normalized. I've got a random little story that fits in perfectly there, in that my mum used to send me to the butcher's for a leg of lamb. Wording is very important. Even though those 3 words clearly state what I was purchasing, it was just a leg of lamb. It was what we had on a Sunday at home.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I left home and became vegetarian. It's ridiculous. It's like an aha moment. I was buying a lamb's leg.
Yeah.
Not a leg of lamb that you have on a Sunday. A lamb's leg.
Yeah.
But you know, I spoke in an earlier video about how I genuinely believed for my 20 years of vegetarianism that cows ate grass and made milk.
Yeah, it's the picture that
Genuinely believed it, because no one had. Well, they don't teach us, do they?
No.
That's the thing. We're not taught where our meat comes from. We're not taught where dairy comes from, how it's processed. It's all the images of the laughing cow cheese spread, and you know.
Yeah, living out her happy days in a farm, happily sharing the milk because she's got plenty.
And happy eggs.
Yes. It's actually a brand name, isn't it? Which is such an oxymoron. It's unreal.
Right, I've got some random questions to throw at you, Kylie, if you don't mind. Number 1, how do you find it shopping, and where do you shop mainly?
So I live quite rurally. We don't have sort of many big supermarkets around us. I used to work in Taunton, which is the nearest sort of big town, and they've got a big Sainsbury's. So when I worked in Taunton, not a problem. The big Sainsbury's is chock-a-block, full of, maybe not so much when I first went vegan, but now.
Yes. That's our main store, Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
Love it.
Bacon is amazing. Richmond sausages, you can get anything, and you don't have to miss out at all. I'm a little bit more limited sort of locally, but still it's got so much better now, and the products have got so much better that I still don't feel like I'm missing out. We eat a whole load of sort of fresh fruit and veg and grains, and sort of try and cook from scratch, especially now that the baby's started eating. We're trying to limit it's easy to get excited about all the new vegan junk food out there. But yeah, trying to get back to basics now. Now we've got the little one to feed. Is
she already on food?
We started her on the 10th of April, so about a week or so ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's 5.5 months, so a little bit early, but she was so ready. She's so advanced.
Brilliant.
And you literally couldn't eat anything within reach because she'd just be grabbing it.
I love that about babies. They want everything, don't they?
Oh yeah, they do, and they just smear it all over their faces. Yeah, so she's the newest vegan on the block. I'm very excited to bring her up in a whole new mindset, and that normality we talked about just not being a thing for her at all. I want her to know that, you know, that is an animal, but people over there are eating, and you know that is a cow's breast milk that that person over there is drinking, and we don't do that. So hopefully start off a chain reaction of generations of
Brilliant. Angie, that I spoke to on day 2 of this series, she's got 2 kids, Cameron and Delilah, who were on the video with her, being boisterous, being kids, being fabulous kids, and they've been raised vegan from birth. So it's like we've got that story, and then we've got your story now with a new baby, which is just gorgeous. So what's this is yet another random question. This one throws people off a lot. But do you have a meal that you could tell us about that you have regularly at home and you always love?
So I would say our main, at least sort of 2 or 3 times a week, we'll have like an Asian inspired, maybe a Japanese inspired dish. So we eat a load of tofu. Crispy chili tofu is always going to be a winner.
Oh, I love crispy tofu.
Bang cauliflower. There's a whole new realm of ways now to make cauliflower interesting. Sushi. I've got a little sushi maker, which is so much fun and so much easier than people think. You just need a few fresh ingredients and sushi rice and nori in the cupboard, and it's actually quite a fun sort of half an hour or so making a plate of sushi, and it looks amazing. We've always got wasabi and pickled ginger and whatnot, so you can knock up quite an impressive feast with just sort of a few store-covered essentials. What else do we have? But yeah, no, I'd say that's our main thing is Asian food. We've travelled sort of Asia quite a lot, and I tend to pick ideas up and veganise them if necessary.
We eat quite a lot of. We're more kind of, I suppose, Japanese dash Chinese dash Korean.
You got to have a bit of fusion, haven't you?
Yeah, we noodle dishes at least once a week, and we love a bibimbap. Bibimbap's actually one of our favourite dishes. Adore it, absolutely adore it. Do you bake at all?
I haven't sort of historically. I've got a bread maker, which is cheating, so we do have fresh bread, but I wouldn't do it.
Still making bread.
But since lockdown, I have been dabbling. I've always made brownies. Jamie Oliver's vegan brownies are just amazing and literally take minutes. Literally 5 minutes, mix it all together, stick it in the oven, and you're done. The longest bit is out in the chocolate. So I've always made those. But yeah, since lockdown, I've been using up all the old bananas and banana breads, and yes, again, surprisingly easy to veganise. I
don't think banana bread has ever been more popular. I've seen so many people, but it's great. That's one of the kind of benefits, not benefits, but one of the kind of, I suppose that's the only way to say it, one of the side benefits of this horrible situation we're all in is that people are cooking more.
Absolutely.
And enjoying food more and learning to, bake and things. So that's fabulous.
Absolutely.
Do you have any more plans for any more children?
So I've always thought that I'd have 2. I know that overpopulation is, really up there from a sort of environmental impact issue. So we would like to look into adoption if we had another one. But you can't do that until your youngest is 2. So maybe in a year and a half or so, we'll look into it and see if we're eligible for adoption.
Well, that's very noble and very human. That's a beautiful thing to consider.
If children out there wanting, there's no sense making more, is there? In a, as I say, already massively overpopulated world. It's quite selfish of me, I suppose, to have her, but it's worth it.
Do you have any advice that you could, or nuggets of wisdom that you could share with people who are full-on meat eaters or vegetarians, but are considering joining us on the vegan ship?
So I think the biggest obstacle for people like that have just been sort of born and bred eating sort of meat and 2 veg is, what do I eat? Like my mother-in-law is like, oh, I don't know what to feed you. It's like, I can literally eat so much. So
Yeah.
get out there and explore. Go to vegan restaurants. Join, pages like the Vegan Guys on Facebook, and just get information of what you can eat and how easy it can be. And it's again, people are like, oh, well, I'm not going to get enough protein. I'm not going to get enough calcium.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit of research shows that it's almost impossible not to get your recommended daily allowance of things unless you've got an atrocious diet. So I'd say research. Social media is amazing for that. Join a few vegan pages. Get out once we can get out to some vegan restaurants and explore how good it really can be. Talk to your vegan friends as well. Get tips. Have a little explore down the vegan aisle, and maybe baby steps for some people. I think some people, if you're passionate about it, going cold turkey is the only answer, really, because once you see the cruelty and stuff, you don't want it. But for these people that are just sort of curious and maybe think, oh, maybe for health reasons or whatever, it's a slippery slope. I think once you sort of start, and then you do start opening your eyes to the other reasons why people are vegan, then hopefully for most people it's sort of a one-way street. But it's much easier than people think.
Yeah, it is. These days it's a breeze, isn't it?
I don't feel I'm missing out on anything.
Every single supermarket has a really good range of vegan stuff. There are so many takeaways now that do vegan options, but there's also, I guarantee in most towns there will be a vegetarian-vegan cafe or restaurant or takeaway or whatever. We always try and kind of say to people, veganize what you already know. Like if you have sausage and mash once a week, have sausage and mash. Just try a different vegan sausage every week and you'll find one that you love. And if you have shepherd's pie once a week, just make it with soya mince.
Yeah.
It's
or lentils, just experiment. And
yes, do you know, we not so long back we got given 6 frozen ready meals from Holland Barrett from Deliciously Ella, and one of them was like a cottage pie or a shepherd's pie, and the bottom of it was lentils and beans in this beautiful sauce and then sweet potato on top. And then a few people have said to me, because I've got some dried brown lentils in my cupboard, not touched them yet, Kylie, I will. A few people have said make shepherd's pie with them because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, shepherd's pie, a dal, they take on flavour so much better than the tinned lentils. I think the problem with lentils is we've got a bad reputation sort of from 70s vegans as sort of lentils and lettuce, and they're sort of brushed aside as sort of tasteless and bland and boring, but they take on whatever flavour you put with them, really. They're so versatile, and once they're cooked they do have a really meaty texture, so underrated lentils.
Yeah, and pretty much what you just said there about their take on flavour, that's the thing about, I think you realise more and more when you are vegan, is that everything you ever loved as a meat eater was actually largely about the way it was seasoned.
Absolutely, yeah.
It wasn't take a piece of flesh and just cook it and whack it on your plate. You're not going to enjoy it as much as you do with salt and pepper, maybe a bit of steak seasoning. And that's the key. It's those things that we use as vegans, herbs and spices and flavour. I've never used my spice rack as much as I have in the last 7 years.
Absolutely. It opens a whole new world, doesn't it, of flavours and...
A whole new world.
Beautiful.
I had to. What did you find hardest, Kylie? That's always an interesting question as well. Was it eggs or dairy?
Dairy. I think cheese and chocolate. I think to this day, halloumi and dime bars would be top of my list of things I miss. I don't really miss meat anymore. But yeah, we can't. There's a few things that vegans haven't quite mastered. Halloumi is one of them. And we can do chocolate. We can do like quality chocolate really well, but we can't do dirty chocolate, like just a Cadbury's dairy milk. So I'd like to see filthy chocolate and The cheese is coming on. I think the cheese is getting much better.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, I'd love a halloumi. That was hard to give up.
Someone will come up with one. I mean, 5 years ago, I would have never thought there would have been a vegan steak. And suddenly we have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I would have never thought there would have been a decent vegan chicken Kiev.
Oh, they're not expensive ones to die for, aren't they?
I just kind of want to cut it open and pour the butter in. And have the rest on a butty. I am from the north, after all. So, whereabouts are you in the world, Kylie?
Devon.
Devon.
Devon and Somerset border. Yeah.
That must be a beautiful place to live. I mean, I'm very aware of we've never been that far down south, Jason and I, but having seen pictures, you get some turquoise seas and stuff down there, don't you?
Yeah.
Like pretty much like you do abroad.
It's pretty much as close as you get to being abroad in the UK, I'd say, this far down the West Country. And we're really lucky in the Blackdown Hills as well. So we've got all the sort of the woods and the fields. We're really lucky.
But you are, of course, in one of the kind of dairy hubs of the world, aren't you? Because Devon is very famous for creams and clotted creams and, you know.
As well as sort of the food side of going vegan, you know, I gave it up. It wasn't that much of a problem. One of the biggest things about being vegan was having so many farmer friends and so many farmer clients at work, and having to sort of bite my lip and maybe not. And obviously working on farms, you know, I'd go to a dairy farm and this is their livelihood. And I was strongly opposed to it. And I kept on working on farm because I thought, if I'm the only person that day or that year or forever that treats that cow, you know, like a living, feeling being, then, you know, that's enough for me. That made it worthwhile, even though, you know, it was really heartbreaking to see the process of the dairy farm. Every cow just had a number, but I always named them if I was sort of caring for a calf or whatever. And I thought, if I'm the only one that's going to sort of give them a little bit of a personality and treat them the way they deserve to be treated, then it's worth it, really.
I couldn't help but notice that you're flaunting your pussy on camera. I've been waiting for a door scratch since we started. I've shut the back door just to emit the noise, but she's out there somewhere, crazy Isis. She will be back and she will be demanding fussings very shortly.
Well, I've got 4 of them, so one was bound to show up.
And who's this one here?
This is Toulouse.
Toulouse?
She's a bit of a Velcro cat. She's a real mommy's girl.
Oh, gorgeous. Right. Do you have any closing words of wisdom to share with people? I know I've already asked you kind of what would you say to people who were thinking about going vegan. What would you say to people who are not and you think maybe should be? Because let's face it, as vegans, we think everybody should be thinking about veganism. So what about those people who are like, nope, never? You know, what would you say to them?
I would say that there's so many sides to veganism that even if you don't care about animal welfare or, you know, whatever, you will find something that matters to you that can be aided by veganism. So even if you don't care about animal welfare, you know, the environment is a massive thing at the moment with David Attenborough and everything. If you care about that, maybe just have a meat-free Monday and try it. You know, you don't have to go fully vegan and you don't have to start wearing hemp skirts and
although hemp skirts are quite fabulous.
And you know, you don't have to name your firstborn Rainbow or whatever just because you're a vegan. You can just cut down on meat and just you know, just try a meat-free Monday, because there is a benefit for everybody. And your health as well. You know, if you don't care about the animals or the environment, care about your health. And have maybe have a look on Netflix and you know, Forks Over Knives, or in fact there's a documentary. If you care about health, the environment, or animal welfare, or any combination of those, there's a documentary to sort of support that and show you that you know, how beneficial it really can be.
Yeah, there's many, isn't there? There's cowspiracy, speciesism, vegetated, earthlings is brutal. the worst horror film ever made, and it's all true.
I know, I sobbed my heart out.
It's horrific, isn't it? Yeah, truly horrific. And there's help out there, guys. If you need help, like Kylie said before, there are Facebook groups. There's the Vegan Society. There are so many amazing recipes that simply omit animal ingredients,
Yeah.
but still make amazing cakes or pies. Or have you noticed? I always go for the fat thing: cakes and pies.
And we're just humans, but vegans are just humans that have seen the light. People think we're so preachy and holier than thou, but if you're not a vegan and you want some advice, reach out to a vegan, because we're nice people and we're happy.
Yeah, honestly, we're not going to bite you or anything.
We're happy to give them recipes or put them in direction of more information. So yeah, just reach out. There's a whole world out there now, and it's so easy to connect to one another. So
Kylie, you've got to stop saying a whole world, because I'll break into song. Right, Kylie, thank you so much for talking to me today and for being a part of our Vegan Stories series. I think you bring a really unique perspective because of your occupation and because of your recently crowned motherhood. And of course your experience working in Cyprus. I think all of that is just really interesting for people to hear about, and you are yet another beautiful face to add to our Vegan Stories journey. So thank you very much for taking part.
Free to help. Lovely to speak to you.
Lovely to speak to you too. Thanks a lot, Kylie.
Be careful. Bye.
Bye, love. Bye.